Hello, and welcome to Puzzlers Anonymous. My name's Kevin, and I am a puzzle addict, and gosh, we have a lot to talk about. My last video was my longest video ever. I feel like this is going to be my longest preamble ever. So yeah, two big stories. One, I fucking crashed my bike. So that was, 2 nights ago? I'm recording this on Friday. I didn't even record on Thursday because life's been so crazy. So yeah, Wednesday, went to a soccer game. Bike at home at night. I had my lights on. Also, maybe had a few beers. And for whatever reason, probably because of the few beers, I took a different route home than I usually do. And I was turning and maybe not paying as close of attention as I should. But like my neighborhood, no one ever parks on the street. I don't want to say no one, but it's pretty rare. There's not a lot of cars parked in the street. So I was like turning. And then this wasn't just a car. It was like a trailer, like one of those big trailers that gets you tow, like a camping type thing. And I don't know, I was going pretty fast, like fast for me, which is 12 miles per hour, which is not that fast for a lot of people. But it was dark. This all happened at once, but I feel like this trailer didn't have a lot of like reflectors on it. Whatever. It's my responsibility to be looking for parked cars and trailers when I'm turning, and I just did a bad job. But like I saw it in time to swerve, but I swerved away, but still like the right handlebar hit the trailer, immediately went down. My handlebar was all cocked. It's at like a 45-degree angle. My shifter was like totally exploded. But I didn't feel too bad. I was, I had, scrapes on my elbows and knees, not to be expected, but, I didn't have a broken arm or anything. And luckily this was in my neighborhood, so I just walked my bike home. Gina was still awake, and she kind of, helped me with Band-Aids and whatever. And, we just chatted, and then she started going to bed. But then as it was going, I had chest pains, so I was just like, let's go to the hospital. This is either like a broken rib or like I had a heart attack when I crashed. But either way, if you have chest pains, go to the hospital. Just, you get how this works. So we went to the ER, and everything was fine. Like, obviously I'm banged up, but it's like no broken rib, no heart problem. This happened twice. Like in December, I also went to the hospital because I was having chest pains. And I don't feel foolish about it because my family does have a history of heart issues, but like that time it was just like indigestion. But it's a persistent issue. Like I often have chest pains, which I now know are just indigestion because they did, they checked all the heart stuff, which is also kind of scary because then it's like when I do have heart problems, I'm not going to know what it feels like. It's going to be like the same thing as usual where it's like, oh, it's hurting, but it's like whatever. So it took a very long time, just for like, they got the x-rays right away, but it was like getting a doctor to look at it and confirm it. So we were there like all night. I think we got out of there at like 5 a.m. and probably went there about midnight. So yeah, I mean, my chest still hurts, but they think it's just like a muscle strain. Like I saw the x-ray, ribs are good. They tested my heart is good. But yeah, honestly, I consider myself very lucky with how it turned out. This is probably my first real crash ever as a biker. Like I had the thing where I broke my arm before, but that was, I was slowing down and I hit a twig and my hand was off my handlebars because I was signaling to someone that I was stopping, so it just tweaked. And I went over, and it was just like, I caught myself weird, and it was a small fracture. Otherwise, I don't feel like there's much. There was a time in college when a friend and I were just racing, and my gears seized up, and I went over the handlebars, and that was just like scraping my wrists. Or like when I was like 8 or 9, I was riding with a friend, and it's like we had a miscommunication where like I thought I said that we were turning right, and maybe he thought it was the next one, so I turned right and he was going straight, and I crashed into him, and I like hurt my toe a little bit. But like that's all like minor stuff. Something like this of just like crashing into something and just like, you know, ending up on the ground and the handlebars are all fucked. I don't think I've ever had that before. And the fact that like my shifter, like, you know, where you do the shifting and braking, is like totally wrecked. And the fact that on the right hand side, the fact that that is smashed and my hand is fine, the fact that I didn't break any arms or legs, I just have a muscle strain, like it could have been so much worse. So obviously it's a pain. Gonna have to get my bike fixed, and I'm sure that won't be cheap. My fucking Apple Watch is wrecked. Like the screen's like coming off. I also lost one of my Bluetooth headphones and my front light. My front light's like $20. I'll get a new one of those. But so, you know, it's gonna cost money, but I'm healthy and, you know, should be fine. The only thing is there's a music festival next weekend that we always bike to in Dodgeville, and I'm just worried my bike isn't going to be fixed by then, or, you know, I feel like I'll be healthy by then, but who's to say? It's a week away. So, you know, if I had to, I wouldn't miss it. I would just not bike there. I would drive to the festival. If I had to drive and miss that long bike ride, that's obviously disappointing, but I still count myself very lucky how this turned out. In the grand scheme of things, it could have been a lot worse. So, yeah. And then the other thing is the Eau Claire's Festival, which I was talking about last week. It was just so magical. So, I've always loved this festival, but it was going to be very different this year. In the past, it's been like a lot, you know, larger bands, and they went away for a while and they came back in like an intentionally smaller versions. So there was a lot of questions about like what it would be like, if it would live up to the other years, and I feel like it totally did. Like it wasn't, you know, the other ones, it was these great indie bands, and so much of the music I listen to now is bands I discover from there. It wasn't that, but it was a totally different and totally awesome thing. I just realized as I adjusted my glasses that another amazing thing about my crash is that like these bad boys were fine, not even a scratch on the lens. Ooh, there might be a scratch on the lens. I went down in the street. My helmet's fucked. That's another thing I need to buy, new helmet, but that's okay. Protect the noggin. It's okay as far as I can tell. Who knows with this guy's brain. But yeah, so it's like less big bands that I knew, and more of an eclectic mix. This has always been kind of like an indie festival, but this year it was just all over the place. There was like jazz and gospel and rock and like Zydeco. There was like I don't want to say children's choir, like a youth choir from Minneapolis, known MPLS, that was like really fucking good. It was just like, there was like a harp thing. It was great to have like, you know, orchestral art music in there, but yeah, just all over the place, a total hodgepodge of genres, but like everything was so good, and it was so great to like experience all these different bits together. The whole festival has always branded itself as a music and art festival. They always have like art installations. They also have a writers in residence thing, so there's always like poets and like essayists on hand, and this year they really expanded it. So they had like group readings on like topics. They had two guys did a whole thing, I didn't see this, but other people said it was great, about like this snowplow in American literature, and they had two snowplows. It's not like trucks with the snowplow attachments, not the huge snowplows, and they were like reading out of the back of these truck beds in this forest. But they brought back a thing that they've always done before, which is one-on-one poetry readings, or, you know, like 2-on-1 or 3-on-1. So Gina and I did it together, and yeah, the guy there, he just, you know, he asked, you know, how our day was going, you know, about where we're from. We said we're from Madison, and he was like, oh, you know, like I'm from Eau Claire, but I had, you know, moved to Thailand and then back. Now I live in Whitewater, which is a town near Madison for people who don't know. So he had a poem that was specifically about like coming back to America and finding community in the Madison writing community, you know, and finding a home there. So it's like, because first off, it's just a one-on-one reading with this poet, just us in the room with him reading directly to us. But then it's like, because we're from Madison, he read a poem that was like about his experience in Madison. It's just like the sort of stuff like that is so cool. Or like another example is there's this band Baziki. They're based out of Minneapolis, but it's some of the guys from Bon Iver, and then it's some native indigenous singer. So it's like powwow singing, but with like indie music under it. So like they played in Madison a few months ago at the Marquette Waterfront Fest, and I was there. I wasn't paying close attention. I was just kind of like listening to the music, and it was great. But here at Eau Claire, they were the opening group of the festival, and they didn't just play their songs. They did stuff, like where they were doing like blessings like in their language, and they like obviously did like a land acknowledgement. They were talking about all this stuff about like the nature and the woods and how we have to protect it together. And it's just like, that's not the kind of thing that you would do at like a regular, like they didn't do that at the Marquette Fest, but because this is for like nerdy nature supporters, they did all that. And they had like dancers on stage, and they did like a circle dance in the crowd afterwards, which was just super neat. Everyone who's at this fest just talks about like the great collaborative spirit of it and how they're like so inspired. I mean, even I was reading an interview of the guy from Sylvan Esso has been at previous festivals, and he's talked about like people do like one-off weird experimental sets for this, and he said like he's tried to do that at other festivals, and the other festivals say no. So it's like this is a smaller kind of boutique festival, but it encourages art and experimentation. So the craziest thing about that is like it's like the Bon Iver Festival, but Justin Vernon has said he doesn't want to be Bon Iver anymore. He doesn't want to do that. So it's like he's going to play, but he's going to do a different thing. And in the past, he's done tribute things. Like the first 2 years of the festival, Bon Iver played. The other years they did tribute things. So the third year he did a John Prine tribute, but it wasn't just him. It was him and other people from the festival just doing John Prine songs kind of in their own style. And for that one, then John Prine showed up at the end and did a few songs. The next year they did a Grateful Dead thing, which I was less psyched about, but again, approached with an open mind. So yeah, it was like Justin Vernon doing some Grateful Dead songs. Everyone who was there just did their take on Grateful Dead songs. So this year they did a Bob Dylan thing, and I thought it would be that. But no, it was full ass like cosplay, like dressed as Bob Dylan. He said he was specifically going to do like the way Dylan performed in 1994. So it's like that setup. They were dressed that way. But he even did the voice. Like this wasn't Bon Iver versions of Bob Dylan. It was just Justin Vernon doing a Bob Dylan impression, performing it as Bob Dylan did in the 90s. And it was the most bizarre shit I've ever seen in my life. But it was also so fucking good. They nailed it. And like the whole thing with Bob Dylan is like he never does what you want him to do. That's been the thing since the beginning, since he went electric. And it's like people go to see his shows now and like it's terrible. I saw it in 2006 and it was terrible. And you go out of respect for this legend to be in the same room as him, but it's not a good concert. So like this, like you can't see Bob Dylan the way you want to see Bob Dylan. Like this is this was like the closest you could get to actually seeing Bob Dylan as you want to see it. And it wasn't, like the 60s acoustic guitar, but it was the 90s more blues influenced. As I was listening, I was like, yeah, this really is like sound-wise, performance-wise, the best era of Bob Dylan. So it's like, yeah, you can't see Bob Dylan as you want to see Bob Dylan now, but you can see Bon Iver do it. And then also, as I was watching it, I was just like, one, this is the most insane shit I've ever seen. Two, this is never going to happen again. This is a concert that we are seeing here. And then that's it. They're not going to go on tour as Bob Dylan. This is just a thing that happened one time. And it was amazing. Yeah, someone on Reddit was like, I've seen Bob Dylan a ton of times. And I've seen Bon Iver a bunch of times. This is both the best Bob Dylan show and the best Bon Iver show I've ever seen. And that was just so lovely. one more thought on the like, this is just in this moment sort of thing, the ephemeral nature of it. So Kevin Morby was going to play, and he had to miss because his child was born. A legitimate, very good reason to miss a music festival slot. So at the last minute, they had to, come up with a spot. So Justin Vernon did just do a Bon Iver set. He did like a 30-minute one. It was acoustic. I don't think he's done an acoustic set since like the first album. He's gotten into all this like glitchy electronic stuff, which I love. A lot of people hate. I'm a big fan. But the acoustic set made sense, but also it's a thing that like he never does that. And he said he doesn't want to do Bon Iver anymore. He said he's done with that. Like the last time he performed, which like 3 years ago, is going to be like, that's like the last, Bon Iver performances ever. So this super rare acoustic set by this guy, playing this music that he said he's not going to play anymore. It was so amazing, like just hearing that in Eau Claire. I don't know if you know this, but I liked Bon Iver before it was cool. Like I was listening to Bon Iver before even people in Eau Claire were listening to it. So that first album, I actually don't like the first album that much anymore because I love the new glitchy stuff so much. But like there is a deep association between that and like my life in 2007, just like being in Eau Claire. So hearing some of those songs in Eau Claire was deeply emotional and deeply sentimental for me. But then someone pointed out in an article later, like, Bon Iver playing this rare acoustic set that he never does. You would think that just like everyone in the audience would have their phones out and be recording, and they just weren't. I saw like one or two people. Like he played one rare unreleased song, so I saw people recording that. But for the most part, you didn't see anything. People were just experiencing it in the moment as this ephemeral thing that like you'll remember it, but you won't have any footage of it. And that's no judgment on recording at concerts. I've actually said before, I like when people record at concerts. Like, don't do it for the whole time. But I love when the person in front of me is holding up their phone and recording something. I have this little moment where it's like, I can see the concert through their eyes. I can see which song is important to them, which thing on stage is important to them, which part of the song they want to. I love that little peek and connection to the other person's brain. So don't get it twisted. This is not me talking shit on people who do record. But the fact that this rare thing happened and no one was recording is just like a reflection of the overall vibe of this festival, of just like experiencing it, all this different music that's so all over the place, and just, yeah, it was super fucking neat. Then after that, we went to Big Falls, which is a beautiful swimming area in Eau Claire. Gina has spent time in Eau Claire before, but I haven't had a chance to really give her the like Kevin McInerney tour of Eau Claire, being someone who went to college there and loved that place. So we went swimming, but we're gonna have to go back a different weekend for like a full Eau Claire weekend where we're not just spending all our time at the festival. And then I got to meet her grandma, who lives about an hour outside of town, so that was nice. Never met her before, and we're very happy with how we're doing our wedding, of just doing the small thing. But one of the bummers is like, all the extended family that I don't get to meet, so we're just gonna have to meet them different times. So it was good to meet her grandma. The other really cool thing about the festival, it was on the college football field, and there's on one of the lights on the field there. When I was in college, there was an osprey's nest there, and there's still an osprey's nest there on the same light. I imagine it's been continuously occupied, and these ospreys just became like the mascots of the festival. They were the talk of the town. Everyone loved them. They'd be like flying around during the sets. There was one set, it was between songs, one of the ospreys went and came back with a fish in its talons, and the whole crowd cheered for the osprey that had caught this fish. It's just, these little nerdy nature appreciators in the forest, we were going nuts for those ospreys. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me through that long preamble. If you did, I'm going to try the Thinky Dailies here's the thing. So today was the final one of the season. So there's going to be a month break after this. But you could also see on my tracker here which ones I've completed and which I haven't. They get more difficult as the season goes on. And a lot of them I just haven't solved yet. You can also see all the other ones that are gaps are the visual puzzles, which I've said on the record before. I love them. I'm just not very good at them, so I gotta go back a time when I really have commitment, which will maybe be what I do after this. So, a lot of ones recently that I haven't solved, especially in the kind of like artificial time limit that I place on these videos. So we're going to go to the second to last one. I know the last one is going to be a meta puzzle, and I already know because Josh told me that it's really tricky. They always are. We're going to the second to last one, and it's probably going to be 4 puzzle piece difficulty, and I'm probably not going to be able to solve it on this video, but we'll see. So the one before, yep, it is. Ooh, meta puzzle is 5. But yeah, this is the one from Thursday. So 4 puzzle pieces. It is the same one that I did on the last video, so that might be helpful, but probably not by much. Okay, we got a 0 here. That is helpful. I'm gonna do X's because this is a tricky one. One of these is one. That doesn't tell us much because it could be that, and that doesn't affect that. These are both touch and 1. The ones that are, the 3s are easier to limit. Extremes are always what you want, because those are just like, yeah, those are the ones that are easy to limit. I'm thinking 0s and 3s, they have to be the extremes, because there could never be a 4, right? He says to no one. Yeah, because let's say this 3 was a 4. That wouldn't work because the numbers in the cells always have to connect to each other. And that couldn't happen. So, I shouldn't have restarted because I still had the 0 there. So, we know that there can never be a 4. 0s and 3s are our most extremes. And that's, in any puzzle like this, the most limited ones are the ones you want to work around. Though for now, I'm also seeing that this 2 is pretty limited because how would this ever have a square in it? The only way, I guess I didn't review the rules. I'm just assuming because this is the last puzzle I did, everyone would know. But you always have to have 1x3 blocks. And then you're trying to keep them separated. So this can never be a 1x3. It's a maximum 1x2. So we know that those are there. We also know this can't do a 1x3 that way. So we actually already have a full block right here. Same thing here. We can't do that. So full block there. So both of these 3s have one of theirs on there. And I think this 2 is pretty settled for the same reason that this one is. You can't have something there now that we have that. Before I knew this one, we could have had that, but I know this can't go there, so this has to go up there. So that's settled. So there's that there. But this is a little trickier. No, it isn't. It looks tricky on its face because I was going to say, you know, with the 2, it could go here or here. But where did I get that idea? Maybe I'm wrong already about what I was thinking. Here's what I was thinking. The 1 can't be this because it couldn't go that way. So, like this 2 is already touching 1, and then this has to have 1. So, these are going to be the same one, but yeah, I think I had a better idea than I thought. I think I was thinking that this being impossible limited this more than it does. Here's the other thing I'm going to do. Once a number is sorted, I'm going to put an X on it also. That's just going to help as we go. Well, here's this. We know we have this X here, so the 3 has to be there and there. Just because those are the only options. But yeah, then the question is, does this do this? Or does it do this? Or does it do a secret thing we haven't come up with yet? Because yeah, this would work because it can go there. This would work because it can go there. And then we can also do that. And then we do that. And that doesn't limit anything because these connected cells can still go out that way. So, yeah, that didn't give us as much as I hoped. I don't know what's there. Yeah, the 1 has to be here or here. I don't think we know much about that. Where else can we go from here? Usually 2s and 1s next to each other are pretty meaningful. Because it's like if the 2 is going to have 1 here in one of those, then the other would be here. But I don't know if that's true here. Like those could both be 2 and then the 1 could be there. I feel like these 1s all together are also pretty limited. But I can't quite see how. This 2 only has 3 options for its 2. I feel like it's got to be something that is over here. Because like we started here and we progressed over, and like you usually can logic these things. It should go in a chain. I think it might still be something with this, and I just can't crack it. So if it were this and went up there, then that would be, this is getting into dangerous territory. I'm basically doing bifurcation, and I got to remember which one of these things are real or not. But assuming it's that, we would either have this or we'd have this. And those both seem fine to me. Is it possible that the 3 doesn't interact with the 2? Yes, because you could do like that and that. You couldn't do that. No, you could. I was going to say you couldn't because then the 2 would have to be here and here, and that would block it, but no, because it can still go through there. So that's nothing. Are there any limitations here? I really don't think so. Wow. I mean, when I saw I was a 4, I knew there was a pretty good chance that I might not solve it. And I'm not just going to stare at this and mumble to myself for 20 minutes, especially when I know that this was my longest preamble ever. I don't want to give up if I'm really close to something. Here's something. We know that that has to be filled in because otherwise it is blocked off. I still don't think that gives us much, but it's something. I'm going to mark that one as done, even though we haven't gotten the things around it. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how these interact. Is there anything... Like, it feels kind of random, but is there anything that we could outlaw? Like, is there any reason that can't happen? I don't think so, because 1, 1, 1, 1. And then this could still be satisfied there. If it were this, then this has to be here. But we don't know that. Yeah. I'm about to give up on this. I just want to try a few more things, like with these interactions. Like this has 3 options, but only 2 of them can be fit. But which ones interact with the 3s? I mean, I guess let's look at this. Like if this were here, either of these, if they have those have to go there. So I think this 3 has to be touching two things from this 2. Because yeah, these are the 3 options. If this is here, it's already touching the 3. If this is here, its only option is to go here. And if this is here, its only option is to go there. So we don't know which of these 2s are here, but we know every box on the 2 somehow connects to the 3. So the 2 here are affecting these 2. So the two of the 3s are going to be here. And they come from the two, either this one or this one, which could go up or down, or this one. That means that this has to be filled in. It's going to have 2 here, and then its third one is there. That gives us very little, but it gives us something. The other thing about this is I know it could be these two, or it could be these two. It can never be these two. Oh, no, maybe it can, because it could go like that. Oh, but that one wouldn't be. That wouldn't be, because it can't go like that. So, oh, does that disprove my original theory? Could it be this? I mean, it couldn't be that, because we're going to want, but could it be that? Actually, I don't think it could, because if it were that, then the other 2s have to be here. And, oh no, they could, because like this could go here, and no, that has to go there. So this would have to go here, and that would block things off. So weirdly, I did actually prove that there has to be a square there, despite having that openness. But that doesn't give me much more. Nerds. And I don't think I can even prove that this has to be 1 for 2. Because, oh, no, now I can. Because then if it were the 2 parallels there, this area would be blocked off. So that means one of them has to be this. And that can only fit going down. So the other one has to be this. So wow, actually we are kind of making progress. Because that forces both of those ones. And then this one has to be over here. Oh my gosh, he might commit to actually solving this. Truly his longest video ever. So this one has to have something there. We don't know which one. Okay, I've done something very stupid that I should have got a long time ago. This one only sees 1 square. So that has to be there, which means that can't be there. So this is either going to have to go there, or here, or here. So, frustratingly, one of these is tied to this, and I don't know which one. What I do know is this 2 already has 2 on it. And this, at the very least, is going to go here. It either goes here or here, but it has to go down 1, which means this has to go that way. So then our other 2 for the 3 are either here, going to that, or one of these. Now we know that this one doesn't go here. So at the very least, it goes to here, which means that doesn't go there, which gives us our 2 2s here. This has to go up. Cool. This one can't go up because these 2 have to go at least. Oh no, it could. Oh, boo. Because this could be its own entity. That could go to there. This could go here. This could go here. That still leaves this open, in which case that could go there. Gosh, that's frustrating. But hey, that's puzzling, baby. They want it to be tricky. But that one's complete. We just got to figure out where these expand out to. I mean, the one thing we know is they're not going to be this, because then this section is blocked off. It can be a lot of things, but it can't be that. You're set. You're set. Okay. So yeah, this one could be this. This one is this or this. I might have to vibe solve this last bit. If this goes down to here, this has to go here, assuming it's not there. And I gotta be thinking about blocking things off. So this can't go here, because if it did, it would force this here, which would block that all in there. So I don't think we can go so far as to say this isn't in it, because it could be that. But it's either going to have to go here or here. And I'm already seeing that the horizontal is enough to block off this section. So actually we do know that that goes there. Cool. Which then forces this because it can't go right. So that does go up. So this has all of it there. And this actually does give us something, because then this section is exposed unless we connect it. So we know that goes there and that goes there. And then this is by itself, so that also has to go there. So we get the 2 and the 1. But this is still open to get out. So we're very close here. This is still on the table, unfortunately, because that could go out that way. So that's not settled law yet, and I don't know how we're going to get to that. This one's pretty safe, because it could go there, or it could go there. It really depends on what this 1 requires, and we just don't know that yet. So where else can we go from here? Here's what we know. This 1 is either here or here, which means it's only going to satisfy 1 requirement on the 3. It's either going to do that, or it's going to do this. So maximum, yes, maximum we have 1 over here. I got a little tripped up because I was like, what if the 1 comes from here? But no, so that gets set. So we don't know which of these it is, but we know there's only going to be 1 here. So that means there is 1 here. That doesn't give us much. But I think here, I think this can't be, this can't be a 2 going this way, because then there's nowhere the 1 can be. Doesn't mean it can't be that, though. This can't go this way, because then this is closed off, so we have that. It at least goes up there. We don't know if it's this or this, but we know it's not this, because that would close that off. So it goes up, at least 1, possibly 2. So then we have the other 1 here. Can we now safely say that this isn't it? No, because that would still be open. And, ooh, it can't be these 2 together, because that would block off the 3. And you know what? No, that's still safe, because like, what if the other 2 is there? It could go out there. I almost thought I ruled out that, but I didn't. Can we say that only one of these is on there? Meaning this would have to be on there? Like if this goes here, I think that could still go there without ruining anything. So yeah, it could be those 2 without having that. Nerds. Can it be these 2? No, because that would close that section off. So we know this one of them has to be this. Okay, so then this needs 1 more. Could be there. If it's here, it has to be like that because we can't close off that part. So yeah, it's either that or this. But not both. We are so close on this. So close but so far. Is it time to vibe solve this last stretch? Okay, if it's here, I don't think it can be there. Maybe it can be there. What I was going to say is I think having it here closes off the two. Because it's like, then this has to be here, and this has to be here, and that section's there. But that's not true. It could still be like this, and then it would go through there. Oh, but that would still close off the 3 there. Yeah, I think if the 3 is here, 2 is impossible. Because it either has to go there, which would block it off, or it'd have to go here and here, which would block it off, or there and there, which would block it off, and would make that 1 impossible. So what that tells us is this 3 can't be here, so the 3 has to be there. That's complete. Yeah, because if that was there, it just makes the 2 impossible. So then that means the 2 isn't here, because it would either have to go there or there, which would also close it off. So we have both of our 2's here. And I think this 2 can't go here, because then that makes the 1 impossible. So that's complete. This can't go here, because that's 4, but also because that would block it off. So this goes here, which gives us our 1 and our 1. We got our 2. And it should just be a matter of closing out this 1. And we can't do this, because then the 3 is settled. So if we do this, it should solve this 4 difficulty puzzle. Fuck. Oh! I just didn't finish this 1x3, because I still did not, but we should still be safe, because when I close this, this still gets out this way. So that should finish the puzzle. Thinky Dailies, finding my way through your puzzle heart. Why did you leave me at the Chinese pavilion, girl? I got all pensive and remorseful because I realize now that the idea that I had for the Thinky Daily theme for this one, inspired by my time in Eau Claire, I actually have to create it. And it's going to take a fucking long time. But I hope you enjoyed that jingle I spent a lot of time in. And this peek behind the curtain that I make it afterwards. This was a cool puzzle. God, 21 minutes on that solve, plus a long preamble. Let me take a quick break on my end. You don't have to know this. Jump cut to when he's back. Wow, this is going to be my new longest video ever. That was in my stopping time. I checked the timing and wow, very long preamble. I appreciate everyone coming through. Puzzle by Joel Woodford. I recognize that name for sure. All right. We got cluster in italics. I feel like this means there's not going to be a revealer. It's going to be one of those where you just got to like figure it out from context. Agent. Yeah, we just got nothing here. Steam. Is this our next one? Gambit. Cluster, agent, steam, gambit. Okay, we do have a revealer. Communication A that helps make sense of the italicized clues. I want it to be the NATO alphabet, but those aren't the ones from the NATO alphabet. Or is it? Man, I gotta learn the NATO alphabet. I just gotta. I thought the NATO alphabet was, I know, like C is Charlie. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. Gosh, a lot of those are like the Greek alphabet. Yeah, agent would be alpha. Is it something with alpha? Alpha. I should check some crossings to see if this is right. Let's. It's probably lens. Assuming that's correct. See, here's the problem with checking is I'm sort of looking for right answers there. It might be left hanging. Don't know. Most common letter in this clue. That's T, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And only 3 M's. That's a very clever clue. Boat propeller or... Okay, yeah, NATO alphabet is correct. So how do we get that with what we have here? Cluster, Charlie, Lima, uniform. I don't know the one for S. I gotta learn the NATO alphabet. Yeah, agent is alpha. Ooh, there's a Bravo in here. 33 across. That's funny. Because that's B in the NATO alphabet. Steam. Okay. Let's work on Steam. Sure. Organizational leader. Organization leader. I don't know. Maybe boss. It often leans left or right. It's going to be something political. Gospel singer Franklin. I want it to be Aretha. Well, this is what they do. Are we on Rebus Watch? This is what they do when, like, something's very obviously... They give us obvious objective answers so we can see what's wrong. Because, yeah, if it were Aretha, there'd have to be a Rebus somewhere. Would it be like R, A-R-E, and then T-H-A? Black and orange bird. Well, that's going to be Oriole. So that would... This would probably be A... Oh, and then the TH is maybe here. A-R-E-T-H-A. Panama has this national park. Don't know. Is it Isthmus? Wouldn't fit. That's the whole point. I don't know. One who knows all the shortcuts. Maybe. It's going to be like a programmer type thing. Super user. Puts down. Disses. That might actually work. And like crossword people love that. They love like old slang that they know. Bravo, don't know. HS course covering integrals. Okay, so it's abbreviated, so it's probably going to be AP. Is that calc or is that trig? I think it's calc. I wouldn't know because I did not do a lot of math classes. That's the whole point. Oh, a local knows the shortcuts. That's funny. What's down? It's probably someone who's setting down. Where Dante's path to paradise begins. Probably hell. Like he went to the Inferno first and then worked the way up. Bravo. Is that Olay? I think. See, here we're getting more letters for agent than we are for Steam. Seller of knickknacks. Tchotchke dealer. No, tchotchke starts with a T, I think. Knickknacks. Yeah, we might be striking out a bit on this, besides just the idea that it's probably a rebus. Places down, probably a rebus is what I said when I mumbled that. Puts down is probably places. Okay, so this is alpha. It can't just be alpha gent, right? So then this would be, of course, Steam is the one I don't know. Is it snake? M is Mike. And the whole thing is they're supposed to sound distinct from each other. So I think, yeah, Mike is too close to snake, even though they're different vowels, for them to both be the word. Because it has to be like if you're on a shitty radio, you can still tell what it is. Alpha gent just, it feels like nothing. Prima donna, probably. That just means like first lady. It's like we talk. A prima donna is like someone we think of as like a diva, but it's like the head. It's like the top dancer in a ballet, and yeah, it just means first lady. we do always associate, the most successful performers with people who are high maintenance, which is maybe not unearned. University of Cambridge. Hamlet noblewoman. Lady something. Developer of a geocentric model of the universe. I don't know. I can only think of the guys who are heliocentric. Actually, I don't know if I can think of those. Make Like a Frog is Hop. Also at this music festival, they had little nature presentations on a side stage by nature people from the local nature reserve. How many times can I say nature? And one of them said that there is not a biological difference between frogs and toads. They're like, a toad is... he didn't go into detail on that. But I think they're like the same grouping, and like we make a distinction colloquially between frogs and toads. Toads are like the lumpy ones, but it's not actually like a biological distinction. According to one line I heard from this guy. Like the name of former soccer star Mark DeMan. I don't know. Density symbol. I want to say ohm just based on letters, but that ain't it. Do you read me? Notes? Yeah, I don't know. This is not revealing itself. Plato. Pascal. Okay, well, cluster. I mean, we can try. If the other one's alpha, this should start with Charlie. Sheen. This guy just figured out the theme.
This guy just figured out the theme.
Yeah. So the first letter is a letter from the NATO alphabet. And then the second word, so it's C is Charlie. It's Charlie Luster. So the second one is a synonym for it. So C, you get your Charlie. I don't know why I'm doing the letter. C is Charlie, Luster, Sheen. I don't know if that's S-H-E-E-N or E-A-N. Let's see. Biblical second coming. Yeah, I don't know that. So this is going to be A for alpha and then a synonym for gent. So it's alpha male. See, I don't know this one. But team is probably club. Sierra Club. S is Sierra, which is very distinct from Mike. So then G is golf. But I don't know what an ambient is. Is it golf or is it golf? What's an ambient? That's got to be with walking, right? I also recently looked up the NATO alphabet, and I think they've changed some of them. We'll save that for last. No, let's do it now. Let's get the ones that we don't know. Minecraft and World of Warcraft are probably PC games. If we're lucky, I hope so. Rhyming name for a certain group of friends is probably gal pals. So sow, as an example, would be pig. And then mea culpa, subject for immigrants maybe, is ESL, English as a second language, and SOSPAD, SOS pad. I wouldn't have got that. Still don't know what that means. Okay. Jackie, who starred in Rush Hour. Chan. Notable organization with 32 members is the NFL. Big or bad follower is Apple. You can have a big apple. You can have a bad apple. So we don't know this. There's a different Franklin singer that isn't Aretha. And I don't know it. Oh, we figured out this is golf with an O. Still don't know that. That's the whole point. Proof? I don't know. Top halves of centaurs. Men? And then the whole point is maybe prong. So then it's probably Irma Franklin. Yeah, I just don't know that one. Really please. Golf. Yeah, that's going to be a toughie. What do we got over here? Seller of knickknacks? No. Like a Zoomer? After 1997. Just born? Gen Z is Zoomer. You got your boomers and your Zoomers. So anyone who's born after 1997 is a Zoomer. But it just seems like that's a weird way to clue it grammatically. Bob, who painted Happy Little Trees. Why did I get so intense on that? Haas. They may be lifted or downed. Spirits. You can lift someone's spirits or you can down spirits, meaning booze. City with red buses. Jolly old London. Gina and I. She's going to get 3 points here, and now no one else has anyone. I don't know if I ever explained the scoreboard. But my buddy Garrett, we have a parasocial relationship, even though we're friends in real life. We don't hang out. We hang out occasionally. And he watches my YouTube to catch up on my life, and then he sends me Snapchats every day that I don't reply to because we're in a parasocial relationship. But there was one video where I mentioned him 3 times, and he said he felt like a celebrity or something. So after that, that's when I started tracking how much I mentioned people. Sit down heavily is plop. This is going to be something with curious. Curio shop, I think is what it is. There's a great curio shop in Andersonville, a neighborhood of Chicago. It's like a taxidermy shop, and then they have a bunch of other real weird shit too. It's not the main part of the action. Side. I want to say plot, but it's definitely side. Just don't know what it is. High achievers. This is stoners. They achieve being high. I used to run a group of bikers for Forward Madison games called Mingo Bikes. I would organize bike rides to games, and I quit it for a few reasons, but the main is that it was mainly social media based, and I have quit all social media. But then to a recent game, I wore my high-vis jacket because it was going to be a night game, and I knew I'd be riding home in the dark, and I got a lot of attention for the high-vis jacket, which is the point. It's highly visible. So I made a joke that I was going to start a new group that was the high-vis boys, and it was just for stoner bikers. Maybe it'll still happen. Arrogant. Snitch. Schneid. I don't know this frip and. Training aids for a lab. Say. It's going to be a dog thing. Treats. So maybe this is rents. Yeah. Dog is a lab. You train it with treats. Plain. Ordinary. I don't know. What headphones often play in stereo? So what might be left hanging? Art. That's funny. Sharks. Mark. I don't know, just like a bite. Oh no. It's mark is what it's hunting. I still don't know. It's going to be some name for fish. Okay, so does this give us... I think it's golf range. A phrase no one would ever say. It's like driving range or like golf range. Because, yeah, ambit, I know it has to do with walking. So, yeah, it's probably a range. Let's do it. Really please is elate. Land of a million elephants has got to be Laos. So plus is also. Director Duvernay is Ava? It's either Anna or Ava. I think it's Ava because then I think plain is overt. They want you to think that it's plain like boring, but it's just like plain and simple. Overt. Okay, so arrogant is shark. I'm going to go back to where we were there, but I'm going to use the keys so I don't mess up my alignment. The shark's mark is a patsy. It's not talking about sharks in the water. It's talking about like a card shark. So the main part of the action is a side bet. Joel Woodford, I know what kind of man you are. You're a degenerate gambler. Fripp and Eno, I guess. I don't know it, but the letters work. And, Enos, they're all about the music. Church leader. Deacon. I don't know. It's probably going to be like a word that goes before church. I can't think of that. Oh no. How'd I get... What did I do? Okay. Took one's breath away. Exhaled, maybe. Inhale, you take the breath. Exhale, you take it away. I got a little breathing device. I'll stand up and get it. I'm actually wearing pants. I don't even have to edit anything. You'll just see... Oh, me moving. I got a little breathing device at the hospital. Even though my ribs are fine and my heart is fine, they're worried, like, because I'm having pain in my chest, I'm going to naturally take shallower breaths. So every hour I'm supposed to take 10 breaths through this. You inhale, and the more you inhale, the higher the thing goes. 10 of those an hour. It's actually, I can tell it's getting better because you can see the line of how well you inhaled, and I'm getting higher on there than I had, like, right after the bike accident. So recovery is going good. Remain loyal to. I want it to be stay true, but it's not enough letters. It could be something stay, but I don't know. It's not, because I looked at go for gold, and that's pan. You pan for gold. It's a question mark because they expect it to be go for gold like the Olympics. Remain loyal to. Stand by. Pronounce aisle as it's spelled as an example. Air. Air is such crossword ease. I mean, yeah, to say it as it's spelled would be to make a mistake. It often leans left or right. Not so sure about the political angle. Well, it could be yeah, I don't know. Blank ball. Skee ball? Probably. Joel follows it. This is a Bible thing. That's a book of the Bible, I think. Flames remains. Ash. Lump. Sucka. Eggs. Oh, it's going to be row. That came up recently. Still on that one. Or this, or this. I think there's still ones I haven't seen yet. Like this. Words after cash or zero. No idea. Horrors. I don't know. Organization leader. I wanted to be boss. I know I didn't say that before, but I'm going to wait and see whatever we get. Not going to get that. Change entirely. Reset. Like former secrets. Shared. Once they're shared, they're no longer secret. One who doesn't speak while in a cast. Extra. To make you want to think it's a cast, like broken arm. Maybe. Balkan state that's been independent since 2008. That's got to be Kosovo. So biblical second coming is Eve. Eve was the second person in the Bible. So there you go. Still on this one. Still on this one. That whole section's going to be tough. Maybe patted or slapped. Don't know. Don't know this. Veteran. Old. Old. I don't know. Change logos, maybe. Rebrand. See, this is why I don't get too negative on missing the things, because, like, it'll fill in eventually. I'm still getting letters. Dower, I don't know. Unnatural, in a way, is died. Blank trading, don't know. Okay, so this is rector, right? But I felt really good about pan, especially because I also feel good about standby. I don't think it's rec poor. Oh, go for gold. You're not panning for gold, but you can get more golden by tanning. Okay, that's pretty funny. I'll take it. Often leans left or right. Talk radio. Joel follows it. Hasa Joel. Is it Hosea? Yeah, because patted or slapped is knee. Okay. We're going to have to come back to these eventually. Let's get some more. Words after cash or zero. Zero. In on. Cash in on. Cool. Horrors. Don't know. Organization leader is Prez because veteran I saw was old pro. It's like an anagram, sort of. Like MDM. Maybe I should just put in notes for that. Okay. University of Cambridge. Let's think about this more. Let's think about make like a frog. I do think that's hop. Is Hamlet the one that there was a movie of recently that one of the Coen brothers made? No, that was Macbeth. Hamlet is, alas, poor Yorick, I knew him Horatio. Ophelia? Maybe this is ohm. I just thought ohm was like electricity. And this could be notes. Dower, I don't know. Blank trading, okay. Yeah, I just feel like this is not giving us anything. This could be oh my. Or oh me. Oh me. That's the name of my character in my D&D game that I play with Garrett. I always do here, but it's there. I think I gotta initiate the solve protocol.
Initiate the solve protocol.
So firstly, let's just confirm that Ophelia is who we want. You can't see off screen, but I made a typo. Characters in Hamlet. Oh yeah, I said this before. I was like, I'm not looking at any of this. I'm just going to Wikipedia. The search engines, they're useless now. Okay, Ophelia was right. So what else can we look up from this, really? I'm going to have to go old school on this and just go to the wordplay column. Hoot. I don't know, let's just look up the University of Cambridge, and maybe in its description there'll be some sort of specific thing. Public college university. Third oldest university. Yeah, is there anything up this that would be like a special distinction that would be like a word that would pop up like that? Hinc lucem et pocula sacra. No. Let's look up geocentrism. And it'll probably have the history of it, you know? That's our man. PTOL. Ooh. Yeah, maybe a few of these are wrong, huh? I never... Oh, is phi? Is that the one? Faux. Yeah, because that does still have to be... Oh, that was a typo, but a revealing typo. Yeah, because it's... What? Ptolemy is like the name, right? Pythagoras. I know that guy. Oh, but that's... Okay, yeah. Ptolemy. That is a thing. So, let's put him in. See if that gives us anything on these. Okay. His name is Apt. He must have been a defender because he marks dumb man. So is this row? I think that's a thing. Do You Read Me is a novel. University of Cambridge. It's not the University of Cambridge. That's very funny, Joel. I like that, Joel. It's the University of Cambridge, Massachusetts. Massachusetts, which is Harvard. So then day trading. This is grim, and the horrors is OMG. And please play the music because this video is far too long. Cool. I have nothing to say. I gotta end this for your sake. Be safe.